Hey, what is going on everyone? It's me, Mr. Mario, and today I'm going to be bringing you a laser replacement guide. This is for the Phat Xbox. If you have a Lite-On or a BenQ drive, I'll be showing you how to replace the laser on those drives. They use the same laser and the drives are mostly set up the same. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and get into what you need and how to replace the laser. Alright, well first off, you're going to need a basic soldering iron. Mine is a soldering iron from Radio Shack. It goes up to 50 watts, but just anything around 20 or 30 watts will really do you right. That's all you need for this. Second, you're going to need some Q-tips. This is for cleaning the drive and also cleaning up the laser after we desolder the anti-static point. And of course for this, since we're desoldering, we're going to need some desoldering braid or desoldering wick. And of course, for anything like this, I recommend anything above 90% rubbing alcohol. This will be for the Q-tips, for cleaning off that point on the laser that I talk about, and for cleaning up your driver system. You're also going to need, of course, your DVD drive. You're also going to need some really small Phillips head screwdrivers, so I recommend getting a type of game console oriented toolkit or a precision style screwdriver toolkit like what I have. I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, so I apologize, but you're just going to need something precision-based that you can pick up at Walmart or any other store. You're also going to need, of course, your laser, which you are going to be replacing in your drive. So, of course, the first thing you want to do is go ahead and open up your DVD drive. I've already removed the 4 screws on the bottom that are required. You just need to take off that bottom piece like so, and then just go ahead and carefully take off the top part, and you'll be good to go. Now at this point, what I recommend doing is just grabbing your soldering iron and going ahead and turning it on in case it's not already on. I'm just going to set mine to 30 watts and that way it'll be good to go. You can even use 20 watts for this, but I prefer 30 at least. So just have that running in the background so it'll warm up. Now this is what I do when I grab some rubbing alcohol. I just take it and I pour a little bit out into the cap itself, so that way I can just keep the cap on the side, douse my Q-tips in there, and I don't have to keep grabbing the bottle to do it. Now what you want to do here is grab your DVD drive, flip it over, and unlock it like so. There's just that position right there that you want to push in. It's the same for both drives, and sometimes you just have to take a screwdriver and push it in a bit more if you don't get enough force in. Once you do that, flip it over where the laser is facing upwards at you, and you'll be good to go. Now here there are going to be 5 screws that you can remove. One there, another one up here, one right there in the corner, and finally a partition that is actually connected to the laser. So what we're going to do is just go ahead and remove all 5 of these screws. Now right here, I'm going to cheat a little bit. First, I'm not going to be pulling out the final screw that's in the bottom. You can really just get away with pulling this top screw right here, and then taking that pole that the laser is positioned on, moving it out of the way, and then kind of shimmying it out of there. So if you're a bit nervous about this, just go ahead and remove that 5th screw, but I didn't feel like doing it. Definitely make sure you remove that ribbon as well, like I did earlier. But aside from that, you're good to go. So right now, I like to take this little piece that was hanging onto the screw from the worm gear, and then just douse a little bit of rubbing alcohol into a Q-tip and clean that point right there that was hanging onto the worm gear. Also clean the worm gear as well. I really can't stress that enough. It gets gunked up over time, and especially if a console is in a smoker's household, oh man, those are the worst. But definitely go ahead, take your time cleaning it up, just get it nice and clean, and you're going to see the Q-tips here that I use are going to get decently dirty. This actually isn't even that bad, honestly, for a system. This system was in a smoker's household, but I've seen much worse. I already cleaned up the drive a bit beforehand. So right now, we're going to actually mess with the laser. So here, I'm just unboxing it. I'm going to show you all this brand new laser. It depends on what type of packaging you get, but this is the type of packaging that I got on my laser. So we're just going to go ahead and pull it out of the bag. And as you can see right here, I'm going to do a comparison, but that is what a new laser should look like. Now right here on the left, you have the old laser, and you see how cloudy that lens is, and right there on the right, the new laser, it just has a nice rich black color and it's a clear lens. That's what you're looking for. So we're just gonna go ahead and put the unloved used laser to the side and go ahead and mess with this new one. Now right here I'm going to highlight this point in red, but on the side of the laser there is an anti-static solder ball that has been used to short 3 points. We need to remove that solder ball using our soldering iron and our desoldering braid so the laser will function properly. Now this is not very hard to do. It does look a bit hard in this video because I had to kind of solder at an angle around my tripod and it was really awkward. What you want to do is just lightly put some pressure on there like so, and the desoldering braid will just pick up the solder. So you want to try and clean it up as best as you can. Don't put too much pressure on there because if your soldering iron is hot enough to a point, it's just going to do most of the work for you, honestly. And make sure you try not to melt any of that plastic part right there that the laser ribbon is going to go into. So I have some I don't really have the steadiest hands here, honestly, but I can at least get the job done and the laser works. So I'm normally better at this, I promise, but on camera it was a bit harder. Alright, now right here I'm going to grab the laser, and right where that solder ball was, do you kind of see once I actually get it on camera how it kind of looks dirty and nasty and looks like I really didn't do a good job with it? Well, this is where the Q-tips and the rubbing alcohol also come in handy. Just go ahead, douse a Q-tip with some rubbing alcohol, excuse the camera shake, and go ahead and clean up that contact. That's all you need to do, and as you can see, it looks a lot better now already. It kind of looked like it was burned, it looked like I did a terrible job, but no, trust me, that's just how it looks normally if you're going to do it like that. So just swab it off, get it in focus, and as you can see, it's looking much better. Now, could have been cleaner, could have done a better job, but you know, you only do what you can, I guess. So that's it, really. That was pretty much the hardest part of replacing the laser. Anyways, let's actually get this fitted into our drive. Oh, and of course, before putting your soldering iron away, go ahead, turn it off, and as it is cooling down, don't forget to tin your tip so you can put it in storage and you'll be good to go next time around. Alright, now what you want to do right here is just go ahead, grab your drive, plop your laser back in, and we're just going to pretty much work backwards from here. So just make sure you get that ribbon cable in all snug and secure, and then screw everything back in and you'll be good to go. Now I do want to slow down and make note of one thing right here. When you're at this point and you have to put this right thing back in here, make sure it is tight on the side of the laser, and then from here you're going to notice that it's going to keep popping out a bit and it's really hard to keep in place. What I do is I just take a Q-tip, cheat a little bit right here, and just kind of wedge it in between the pole itself and the drive chassis, the metal chassis right there. Just keep it in, and from there you can really screw in the last 2 screws very easily, so I highly encourage doing that. Alright, so normally what I do is I save the ribbon cable itself for last. You just want to go ahead, pop this out, and then easily, very easily, just load the ribbon cable into that feed. From there, you can put a bit of pressure on there like I did if you want, but you can just go ahead, pop it in, make sure it's secure, and you're good to go. Now what I normally like to do after that is just make sure everything's in, try and wiggle things a bit, make sure it's all good to go, like so. From here, you must close the tray. Normally what I like to do is just move the laser back and forth a few times, make sure it feels about right, and from there you're good to go. So after that, let's just go ahead, pop everything back onto our drive. Normally when I do this though, I want to test it afterwards, and I don't put the screws back in just in case I need to go back in and tweak something. But from there, your drive is good to go minus the screws. Let's go ahead, hook it into our system. Well, beforehand this drive was giving me the open tray error, but as you can see now it's reading, which is some huge progress. And if we see something like this where it says play game and bam, play Hitman Absolution, that is beautiful. Now what I like to do to test out the drive is I normally like to install at least 1 or 2 games and I'll be good to go. So make sure you have a hard drive on your console when you are testing it. Go ahead, set it up to install, and just let it sit there. So as you can see now, we're nearing the end of our install. What I like to do, as I said, is just at least install one game, make sure it installs through perfectly. But if it does that, congratulations, you have a pretty good working laser now in a good drive. So it's probably working almost like new. Now this shouldn't take more than 15 minutes to install a game. If it's taking longer, then there might be something up with the laser itself. It might be a bit dodgy. But aside from that, there we go. Our problem is fixed up. So that's about it, really. Pretty easy thing to do, just take some time and understanding, but that's about it. Anyways, this is Mr. Mario, signing off. Thanks for watching, everyone.